Aulcie Perry, Diana Buchman, and Yonatan Langer. Well, you're not alone. There's more than a handful of others schlepping here from abroad, year in, year out, so to speak. So how many and who are they exactly, and why are they doing it? Let's take a look.
Israel is a unique country when it comes to immigration. In 1950, a law was passed known as the Law of Return, which gives anyone with at least one Jewish parent or grandparent the right to emigrate to Israel. In its infancy, Israel took in hundreds of thousands of refugees from Eastern Europe and North Africa who were fleeing religious persecution. As the state developed further, a steady stream of Jews from all corners of the world moved to Israel. Notably, in the early 1990s, when the former Soviet Union collapsed and its borders were opened, an influx of Soviet Jews arrived in Israel, with over 1 million immigrating, or making Aliyah, between 1989 and 1996. Russian immigration has remained strong. 2022 saw over 70,000 people make Aliyah from 95 countries, with more than half coming from Russia and about a quarter from Ukraine due to the war that broke out last year. People make Aliyah for a number of reasons, including political, social, or economic reasons, with numerous financial incentives given to new Jewish residents. Whilst many are unhappy with the law for a variety of reasons, including numerous loopholes allowing entry to non-Jews, support within Israel for this law remains strong, and as a foundation of Zionism on which Israel was founded, it is unlikely to change anytime soon.
Okay, back with our guest here in studio. So, do you remember the day you made Aliyah, Aulcie?
Yes, I remember it quite well.
Yeah.
I converted, I studied here and in New York, and I converted Orthodox in New York. And my whole life changed. Everything changed about me. And a successful basketball career.
Yeah, much more than basketball here, something that resonates deep in. Yonatan?
Yeah, it was 4 years ago in February, and I remember that I got the news that I will move eventually to Israel in December the year before, and then I couldn't wait to come actually to Israel, and I didn't have the flight. I had to always wait. When is my flight coming? When is my flight? When is my flight? So and at some point I got the flight.
That's very Israeli, by the way.
Yeah.
This procrastinating, right?
Yeah, and then I finally got the flight and I arrived here. And the years before, I always came as a tourist, right? For the holidays, Pesach, Rosh Hashanah, etc. And then at some point, I actually landed, and then I knew I don't have a return ticket. I have my bags, all my belongings with me. I'm standing in Ben Gurion Airport, and I'm arriving here, and I can stay. I can settle now. I don't have to go. Because when you come as a tourist, you always ask, so how long? How many days do I have? But when you're here to stay, you can enjoy it fully.
Well, Diana, the circumstances of your Aliyah are quite different.
Yes, but the days before I also remember, because for me it's like the start all over from the beginning. I was somebody, and I understand that now I'm going, I don't know Hebrew yet, I don't have money, I have one suitcase for me and for kids, so what will be in future, I don't know. So my days was like this.
Yeah, yeah, and once you arrived, do you feel you were well accepted? Did you experience any racism or alienation, or was it a good experience, Aulcie?
That's a good question. That's one of the reasons why I'm still in Israel. They open up their hearts, they open up everything, and it completed my dream, like I told you before. And the players that I played with 40 years ago, we're still the best friends until today. I was injured earlier, and I was in the hospital, and every time I looked at the door, one of them is coming in. So they lifted my spirits. Also, Shimon and Udi, they lifted my spirit when they came.
Yeah, do you share this feeling that you're never really alone here in Israel, Diana?
Of course, when I make Aliyah, I don't have nothing. I need to rent an apartment. I need to have a furniture, because here to rent an apartment without nothing. And when you open the door and people who you don't know ask you, what do you need? or call you. Somebody tells to somebody and bring me things, bring me everything what I need, what need my kids. Of course, for the first minutes, I can tell you that I understand that I don't make a mistake. That this is my land. That this is. I don't feel myself.
We're actually seeing images of your arrival, the video of arrival now. Yeah.
You are not alone. You don't feel yourself here alone. You are like a big mishpacha here in Israel, like big family. Yes.
Yeah. So the sense of mishpacha.
Yeah, it's the same for me. It's like the mentality, totally different mentality. In Germany, it's very, we would say it's colder, right? And like people would not invite you home. But here, strangers are inviting you. Do you have a meal for Shabbat? Do you want to come over for a coffee? Can I introduce you to my daughter? Like, you know, it's like, it's really different mentality. And like everyone is welcoming, especially with my background.
Yeah.
I understand that it's not easy for people, but they put this all aside and they accept the person. They're interested in me and my journey and me as a person. And I get so much support on the streets. People sometimes recognize and they support, you know, they're accepting fully, although I have had this past.
Yeah, once you're in, you're in. And in this respect, what was this moment when you felt that's it? I'm an Israeli now.
Well, this took some time. To be honest. It was like a shift from being a tourist to being an Israeli. So it comes with getting to know the country, getting to know each different group, the politics, and like everything that is happening in the country. So once you're not seeing it from the eyes as a tourist, but as someone like that lives here, then it takes a bit time, but
that's keeping your place in line as a proactive mission, right? You can't just be standing there.
Then you learn the language, and then everything clicks, and then it comes together, and then you feel like, okay, this is my place now. That's it.
Aulcie?
My experience was a lot different. I was born and raised as a Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
But I was never into that. It was questions and things that I was asking the pastor, and they didn't have answers for me. When I came to Israel and started to study, a little bit here, I became engulfed in it, and I started studying and reading and doing, and I said, this is going to be my home for the rest of my life.
I'm sorry, I till now tell my kids, like, don't be Israel kids. I'm sorry.
That's fair enough. We get it.
And sometimes I feel myself like, oh, don't cry. Not be like Israel chutzpah. Keep calm.
Well, this delicate balance of chutzpah and manners. Yeah. No, it's an ongoing challenge for us all. Don't be afraid. Okay, well, as we've been saying, there are so many. We're coming here, more than a handful, that's for certain. And Elchanan Rifkin went out to hunt those Aliyah makers. Let's take a listen.
Why did you move to Israel?
I actually came here on holiday and then fell in love with it after 2 weeks and just decided I'm gonna stay.
Originally, I was really interested in the high-tech scene, and I had done Birthright, I did Onward Israel, I volunteered on a kibbutz, so I loved Israel, I was very familiar with it, and when I was looking for my next job and my next path in life, Israel was the obvious next choice.
I first came on Birthright and obviously fell in love with the country, fell in love with the people, also met my now husband and decided that I wanted to give a future here a chance.
Honestly, I didn't have a choice. I was 13. Because Israel is in my heart and I want to spend my last days here. What's your favorite thing about living here?
I would say the warmth of the people.
The people.
The people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, everyone's so warm and always happy to help, even if they'll kind of scream at you along the way.
I love speaking Hebrew and I love how direct everyone is because I'm a very direct person.
You don't get that anywhere else in the world. I lived in New York for 4 years and they were pretty cold.
My favorite thing is the international community, I think. People being really open to making new friends, it being very easy to make connections, both with Israelis and other Olim.
The weather, obviously, as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing like Tel Aviv weather.
Israel is my family, so I love my family as it is. I can't say that Israelis are perfect, but I love them as they are, and I love being with them. What was the hardest thing about coming to Israel?
So what's difficult is the mentality because Israelis are not very rigorous.
Definitely learning Hebrew. I didn't know the alphabet before I came, and 5 years later, I'm finally conversational, but still have a lot to work on.
Probably learning Hebrew, the bureaucracy.
The language is a little bit tricky. Getting your bearings and learning like new bureaucracy and things like that.
I don't know. It was actually a very easy decision for me. Like, I knew it was the way I wanted to go. I always wanted to like live in Israel from when I first came to Israel when I was in grade 10 on a program.
I would say probably what any other Olim says, the language barrier.
Well, we're nearing the end of our joint celebration, so let's engage in this quick fire round. Favorite Israeli habit?
Habit?
Habit.
Habit. To be spontaneous. Very spontaneous people.
Diana?
Opening.
Okay. Alcie?
The food.
The food.
The
So
food
what is your favorite
unbelievable.
food, Israeli food?
My bat zug is Iraqi, so
Oh, there's some good food there.
okay. So they have a dish called tabit. It's like
To die for.
It cooks all night long, and I love it.
And this is the thing about Israeli food. It's like a
really-
mixed match. Your favorite Israeli food?
Wow, there's so many. I think, especially on Shabbat and the holiday food, like homemade food, not catering, homemade, real.
Yeah, a chunk of challah with whatever, right?
And trina.
Mandatory. Diana?
I love my mama's borscht.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Which is a part of Israeli cuisine. This is the beautiful thing about it. Well, before we part, I do want to ask you to help me figure out this something that is very much perplexing, the happiness index. Israelis are always rated at the very top, right? You have Denmark, you have Sweden, you have Switzerland, Finland, and all those very relaxed, wholesome places, if you will, and then Israel. Israelis are very happy. What is it that foreigners do not understand about Israel? Yonatan.
What makes it a happy is, I think, mindset that there's always hope in the country, even with all the tragedy that's happening in Israel. Everyone is always in the moment. Okay, but we need to live.
Yeah.
We need to live. This mentality. Everyone just has a desire to live, and to be alive is like to be happy, right? When we are happy and when we can see like something positive, and even in a dark moment, and we dance and we celebrate even after a horrifying attack in the streets, then nothing can stop us, right? We are happy regardless.
Alcie.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm happy with the people. I'm happy with my surroundings. Like I said, when I first started to study Judaism, I wasn't sure I was going to convert, but the rabbi he grabbed me and pushed me.
There's something that demands you to be happy.
5 days a week with the rabbi, you know.
Yeah, Diana, quickly before we part ways.
We are like a one person all together.
Wow. No better note to thank you so very much for joining our celebration here. Thank you so much, Aulcie Perry, Diana Buchman, Yonatan Langer. Happy Independence Day. Thank you.